10:30. Call the meeting to order. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are in the Mi'kmaq, the traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq people. We also acknowledge the people of African descent have been in Nova Scotia for over 400 years, and we honor and offer gratitude to those ancestors of African descent who came before us to this land. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. As we begin, we kindly ask you to turn off or silence any social media devices to ensure uninterrupted meeting. Thank you for your cooperation. All right. Agenda. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? We have one for Dark, a report, K4 in the reports. Dark? Anyone else have anything else?
And under in camera 03 legal.
All right. Any other additions or deletions? If not, can I have a motion for the acceptance of the agenda, please?
So moved as amended.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any declarations of conflicts of interest?
None for me.
No conflicts. All right. No delegations or presentations. Minutes from October 6, 2025. It's in your package. Any errors with those minutes? Hearing none, we'll accept the minutes as presented. Business arising from the minutes. We have none here. Does anybody see any business arising from the minutes? Wait a couple minutes there. All good? We'll move on to the report of the CAO.
Okay. October was a little lighter in meetings and stuff, but still relatively busy. Establishing the ARIMO that includes the municipality district of Clare. The intermunicipal agreement has been approved by all participating councils, and so we now require the amendment to our bylaw, and so that is on new business for first read, to get first read. Meeting with their MLA is scheduled for November 10th from 5 till 6. And to aid in setting up an agenda, please send to the Deputy CEO and or the admin assistant any items by Thursday, November 6th for addition to the agenda. We'd like to be able to have the agenda, do up an agenda to send to Jill before the meeting so that she's not going to be coming in blind, and have some idea, maybe prepare for some of the items on the agenda. CMHC Housing Accelerator Fund. The extensions for dates have been officially accepted, and we have drafted a job description for a coordinator to coordinate the Housing Acceleration Fund program, and that will be is on the agenda for council's review and approval, hopefully. Postal strikes of Canada Post is on rotating strike status, therefore mail is moving. So we have mailed out the remaining tax bills and water bills that have not been picked up. And so due to the delays in the people getting their tax and water bills, I'm recommending that the interest on current bills be delayed being calculated until January of 2026. So could
past January 1st or the end of January?
Well,
As of January 1st?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
well,
you.
that's when it will be calculated in
Yeah,
January.
okay. That's good.
All right,
I'll second that.
who made the motion? Deputy Mayor made the motion, seconded by Councilor McCormick. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
ATV road trail request. So I was directed to research whether the town of Digby has authority to make a bylaw pertaining to an ATV road trail connection beginning at the town limit on Shore Road and linking to the trail entrance on Victoria Street. So I have sent correspondence to the Deputy Minister of Public Works seeking the answer, who has acknowledged receipt of my correspondence and stated that he would have his staff investigate it, and at the time of writing the report and of today, I've not had a response. Planning appeal, development agreement, Timothy Peck et al., Thomas Road, Digby, PIDS 303, 83731, and 83022, 8522. So the NSRAB rendered its decision on the matter on October 29th, 2025. The decision of the board was that the appeal was denied, and so the next step is to have the development agreement executed and registered with the Registry of Deeds. Then the second step is to discuss and issue development permits. I've been in contact with the developers as to the next step. So, and for transparency, the cost to the town to defend itself in legal fees in this matter currently stands at $13,000. Private road, St. George Street, the private unnamed road owned by Sean Fredericks has now been officially turned over to the town. And I have a copy of the property online below, or attached. And so now that the town owns the unnamed road, it is required to be named, and the civic addresses of the property located on that road need to be reassigned. Currently, they are all civic addresses off St. George Street, which is not consistent with Nova Scotia civic address file regulations. Mr. Fredericks has suggested that the unnamed road be called Penny Lane.
Beatles.
Beatles. Yeah. Basically, because he gives it to us for a penny.
Kinda neat.
So, I guess council does have to make a decision on naming that road, and, so.
Were there any other suggestions that came forward?
When does it have to be done?
As soon as possible would be net, so that you can get the civic addressing straightened out, sooner the better.
Yes. This thing is not working today for me. I'm just trying to get it working, sorry. Can I make a motion to accept that, name for that road right now? Penny Lane would be. Oh, I think it went. There it goes. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, there's a motion on the floor for Penny Lane. Do we have a seconder for Penny Lane?
I'll second that.
Second. Any questions? No? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Penny Lane it is. Beautiful.
Okay, so also in a couple of additions that, to my report was the awarding of the salt tender. We received 3 tenders for the hauling of salt for the 25-26 season. We had GK Morris Trucking at $50 per ton plus HST, David Cameron Trucking at $52.39 per ton plus HST, and Michael Gillespie Horticultural Services at $60 per ton plus HST. I have awarded the tender to GK Morris Trucking for the 2025-26 season. And GK Morris has been hauling salt for the town for many years without any issues. So, the other item that I wanted to bring to, council's attention is, 56 Water Street has been sold. And new owner was in today, seeking a demolition permit. So that building is planning on being demolished. So that's the old galley building.
Used to be the Ninth Star.
The
Right next to
Star
ice cream.
building.
Not the ice cream, don't worry.
Okay.
No, not the ice cream store. Yeah, the one in between there.
It was temporarily really good view from the Royal Bank then, is that where it is, right across the lake?
Yeah.
So, anyway, she's got ambitious plans for that property. And, so, I thought I wanted council to know in case, once the rumblings start and you see some excavators show up to tear it down and know what's going on. So she had a discussion with me before she purchased the building on whether council would allow, it to, be demolished. And I said, I guess in my words, I said, I think council would be quite happy to see that building demolished because it's beyond repair and it is an eyesore. So.
It's ready to fall down.
It is ready to fall down. I'm surprised that it hasn't fallen down now, or at least portions of it.
That's good news.
Good. That's my report.
All right, any questions for the CAO?
Any questions?
All right, I'll move on to my report. October 2nd, I visited Fancy's Jewelers for celebrating 50 years of business. Went over and presented Craig and staff a certificate of congratulations on behalf of the town. October 4th, I attended the Multicultural Festival, gave opening remarks. This is a great event, look forward to it growing over the next couple of years. Great job, Della. October 15th, I met with the Joint Submission on the Fire Service with Wesley Petit from NSFM. He was down, so we had a meeting to discuss the new fire report that's out. I also gave the report to the deputy fire chief, who they've already had it, so he's gone through it with me. So the next time I have a meeting, we have some concerns and some things that our fire department had with the new report. October 18th, the Van Tassel Lake Windmill Wilderness Trail. Attended the ribbon cutting for the opening of the new trail. Had a chance to thank those who worked so hard to keep, maintain, and expand our trails on Van Tassel Lake. After the ribbon cutting, the group did a hike. Councilor Foot did it for me, and he was in attendance and joined the group for the hike as well. October 23rd, organized the tree lighting for this year. The date set for November 28th, which is a tradition. It's always the last Friday in November for the town. I've notified the RCMP, the tree's been ordered. I will require some help from council for the hot chocolate, candy canes, and cookies. They'll be all ready for us to serve. Deputy Mayor has offered to do the PA and the music, and the Santa has been invited, so hopefully he says yes. October 23rd, had a call from a commercial owner on Sydney Street. Seems we still have a little issue with people who are developing. They need to come here first. So if anybody wants to say they're going to build something, please send them down here, because there's been a couple projects that have gone forward and they haven't had permits for them. And I hate to see people tear things down when they build them and we have a housing issue. So try to encourage people to come here first. Some try to go to the building inspector first. Well, that doesn't work. You still have to have a permit from the town. So perhaps we can put something on our website, or maybe even do a brochure or something up. But I guess it's, if you're going around town, you see people doing stuff, then, just reported here to make sure they do have a permit. Yes, Council.
Is that something that could be posted at the building inspector's office?
Yeah, or we could just remind them that please send them to the town first, right? So it's more of a word of mouth, I think, with some of the people here, so. October 25th, on a Sunday, had a call from the warden, actually. She said the manhole cover was off on the corner of Warwick and 3rd Avenue, so Ed took care of that. It was within 30 minutes they fixed that, so that's great. October 29th, Togby Terrace meeting. This was our monthly meeting, and we're waiting on the daycare to be open, so it's been postponed again. So they're just waiting on some inspections. And it was discussed that once the daycare is up and running for a couple months, then we will do an official opening, perhaps spring of 2026. Because every time we plan something, it's been delayed, so we thought we'll get them up and running first. The Eden survey was completed in September. We had a visitor from the Eden group from the U.S. who did a report and evaluation, and the report was really good. We were very happy with the report that we got. Of course, October 29th, they received a decision for Thomas Road, and we were cleared to move ahead as the board went in our favor. Great news for the town of Digby. I personally like to thank Tom for all the work and guidance through this whole process. Tom, you are a wealth of knowledge and a huge access to this town. As well, a thank you to councilors and staff. We have stayed committed to this project for the betterment of the town. It is what we were elected to do. On October 30th, yeah. On October 30th, we got the schooner sign up. So on Thursday, we put the schooner sign up on the promenade. Peter Jansen and Doug McNaughton, who signed and sculptured the ship, were there, and we took some pictures. And other than that, my other meetings this month was DB Recreation, Executive Committee, Committee of the Whole, public meeting, Commercial Planning Advisory, and Togby Terrace. Any questions? Busy month. If not, we will move on to reports of the committees, bylaw, policy report. And the committee recommends the council, so we approval of our communication policy. Need a motion for that.
I'll move that it be accepted.
Okay, of the communication policy. Yeah.
The communication policy.
Okay, have a seconder. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to a motion for the social media policy. Motion for the. So moved. Do you have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Committee of the Whole.
You're opposed, just,
Yeah.
you're opposed?
I'm opposed to that, yes.
Okay,
Oh,
I
you're
just wanna
opposed?
be-
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, I just wanna be clear for the minutes.
Opposed to the social media policy? Okay. All right, we'll move on to Committee of the Whole report. So, a few recommendations coming out of the Committee of the Whole. First one is a recommendation the council approve the funding application for fire services training facility, and that the town contribute a maximum of $10,000 towards the required share.
Can I speak to that first?
Sure can.
Just to say, we did discuss this at the fire committee meeting.
Yep.
And the question was directly asked to Bruce as to why we were paying an equal share to the municipality, considering the 11 fire departments within the municipality and the one that we have here in the town. Understanding that, yes, it is gonna be closer to the town than it is to a lot of them, but in terms of overall funding, we did ask him if there was a possibility of getting a different breakdown. And I think we even, correct me if I'm wrong, Councilor Weir or Tom, but we gave him an example of a different funding thing that had been used before in terms of, can't remember if it was population or whatever else.
I think you're referring to the Committee of the Whole
Oh, that's right, okay, yeah,
not fire, not
Okay.
the fire.
Right.
committee.
okay.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe fire committee, we didn't, yeah,
Because
that's right,
approved,
yeah,
which
that
means
versus
because
that,
it's
yeah.
certification. Yeah.
So, okay, so for fire committee, we did still discuss that though, in terms of, everything, but yeah, did Bruce ever come back with a different, proposal for funding?
No.
No, okay.
So I think that night, I don't know if this is correct or not, but I made the motion. It wasn't necessarily for the $10,000, it was so that they could go ahead and get the grant. So I
In
didn't
order to
commit
get
any
the
money.
grant, they have to have that
Have to have it,
20,000
yeah.
covered,
Okay.
right? So that's why, you know, so in order to enable them to do it, then, because basically the, reason that I was opposed I was opposed to Matt for the same reason that Councilor McCormick referred to, but it not being a fair shake, but also the fact that they expected us to provide the location. Right? And I think that, in the discussion, we made it pretty, I think council made it quite clear that the location of it was not gonna be Victoria Street. Right? So that took that off the table, because that, what is that property worth? Right? On top of 10,000. Right?
Also look at the working behind.
Okay.
So basically, the intent of this motion is so that the application can be put forward,
Right.
right? And that's why, it says to a maximum of $10,000. It could be less than that.
Okay.
But the municipality also needs to know so they can make their decision as well.
Okay. All right.
Right, whether we're gonna offer the $10,000. I mean, it's not, we could argue that,
Yeah,
but,
We know.
quite frankly, probably our department, the Digby Fire Department is gonna use it the most.
Yeah.
And, so,
No, that's good.
and anyway, I mean,
Yeah.
we can argue,
we'll still push them.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes,
And,
Councilor.
and I will note, when it comes down to numbers, I suspect the Digby department is equal to any 2 or 3 of the other departments in numbers of firefighters.
No, we probably have the most.
I know, but I say the
Yeah.
number of people at Digby Fire Department, if you look at Plimpton or Brighton or Smiths Cove,
Right.
I think the Digby department would equal at least 3 of those
Oh, yes.
in numbers, so
Absolutely,
all the firefighters do have to be trained, so it's not so much as a per station thing, it's an individual number also.
yeah. That's right. All right, so can we get a motion for that?
I move that the council approve the funding application for fire service training facility.
I'll second it.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One opposed.
One opposed?
One opposed.
No,
I
I
said aye. Yeah, no.
No, I was-
You said opposed. Oh, jeez. Look at me. All right, motion carried. Lore Piece, recommendation to establish an ad hoc to develop a Lore Piece for Fundy Institute. That's Councilor Foots.
Okay. So the lure piece is actually for more than just, what I was calling the Fundy Initiative for Title Studies. The lure piece is gathering all the information so we can make sure we're included in the, information piece that the Western Ren is putting together now, and would be available not only to invite people to come study the tides, but we'd have the information available for anybody looking to come and start a business or move a business to our area. And the recommendation we're asking for there is to establish a small ad hoc committee. I suggest hopefully 3 members, and open to volunteers.
I will volunteer.
And I'll volunteer.
So we'll break the dots to,
Okay,
Anyone else?
very good.
That's three. All right,
Can I ask a point of clarification?
sure.
On this, we have it as a lore piece, L-O-R-E, and the lore piece, L-U-R-E. Just wondering if we're talking about the lore of Digby and the, little,
Depends on the ad hoc committee.
leprechauns.
Not good.
My apologies.
Depends on the ad hoc committee, whether
Okay.
you've got lower.
All right, we get the option of either. Yeah, that works.
It all works.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Next
Was
one.
that needed to be,
Yeah,
You
so
need to
motion.
have,
I'll make that a motion that the mayor, the deputy mayor, and Councillor Foot all become a ad hoc committee for the lore, L-U-R-E piece.
Oh, seconder? Seconder, deputy mayor, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Can't escape me, Karen.
Moving on to an ad hoc committee for banners. To establish an ad hoc committee to establish a banner program, B-A-N-N.
Commissioner four, Mr. Mayor.
Number three.
Oh, okay, sorry.
We're on number three.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, so I think, that was yours, mine?
Tom was the one who had the information on the banner program?
I think basically, that, discuss at the committee of the whole and whether we wanted to, so I think the committee, was recommending that maybe an ad hoc committee be established to establish banner program, discuss and, what banner program maybe look like. Or whether we need one.
What's your thoughts? Do we need one, do we not need one? What's your?
Well, I think what Tom is saying, that the committee would look into whether getting the information and council would decide after that.
Right.
And see if we need it.
it's
So
an
this
ad
is
hoc-
to just establish the committee.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Any volunteers for the banner committee? Councilor Foot?
Deputy mayor, I assume the deputy mayor.
Deputy mayor?
Is this the Bruce Banner Committee
Yeah.
or? All right, fine, I'll volunteer.
That was nice.
It's only 2 meetings a week.
Yeah.
All right,
In
so
the slow season.
Okay.
we need a motion to appoint those 3.
So move.
Seconder?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Digby Station washroom shower. The recommendation is to delay closing the public shower at Digby Station till the end of November, and draft correspondence to the municipality asking for cost sharing. Reason for this is because of the water shortage in the municipality. Take care of the neighbors. Question, Councilor Weir.
I'd just like to make a motion to accept that as an approval for, to the end of November, until maybe even see what happens at that time. There's still a lot of people of water that I spoke to, Mr. Chair, and, cost sharing, we gotta start making sure that's, equal for us as well.
Councilor Foot.
The municipality has released, the minutes of their last meeting where they decided not to cost share on that. And in their overview, it was, stated that they would be drafting a letter to the town to explain why they were not cost sharing that.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion is on, yeah, I just want,
Okay, yeah.
that's why I knew
Oh, no.
you made a motion, yeah, so.
Oh,
still
that's
wanna make
okay.
that motion.
Yes.
Okay, second.
I'll second it.
Any other comments or questions?
Sure, can we release that the municipality is being cheap and that we need to care about the folks that don't have water? Sorry, I know we shouldn't actually do that, but,
Scrap that.
At least, we at least put a sign up, this is totally paid for by the town with our compliments.
It's the proper thing to do, so.
It
Not the
is.
signs, it's the proper thing.
Yeah,
to do.
yeah.
Absolutely. But if you wanna take that to the banner committee, you can do that. All right, so we have, motion and a seconder, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Oh, they'll get some resin tomorrow. Okay, number 5, ISMA, recommendation, the approval of the intermunicipal agreement to form the REN. We have a motion for that. Any other questions for Tom on that?
Yes, I think there was some clarification that, council wanted, especially with the in-kind office and
Oh,
in that, so basically, I suggested to CAO Brooks that maybe it should be worded as may and not shall. It may be, but however, they didn't bite on that, so basically, the thing is, I said, my council, and she said, other councils share the same thing, so whatever we have available, so Digby Station could, we could use Digby Station for if they need in-kind office support or office space or meeting rooms. Other than when the board wants to meet, we usually let them use the council chambers. So,
Go ahead.
I don't really have a problem with that at all. What I might have a problem with though is that if that suddenly becomes a regular thing and we lose a space for months at a time, that I'd have an issue.
well, it would be based on its availability,
Okay.
right? So,
They'd have
especially for office space, and I don't anticipate that they'll be looking for office space for long term. But I could be wrong, I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again, but, however, I think it's something that's workable, and we're not alone in that.
Yeah.
In that, so, I think that, they just wanna get the thing in, signed, the agreement signed, so that we can, cause I'm not sure whether the agreement's gonna hinge on provincial funding. With no agreement, province may not fund their share, so I just wanna make sure that, we can get it done, sign it, and if we run into some turbulence on that issue, we can deal with it, at that time. Okay, so.
They'll take care of funding. All right, so we need a motion for that.
I will make that motion with that clarification from the CAO.
Do we have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Seconder, Councilor McCormick. Any other questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Lease agreement, Birch Street Seafoods and Yacht Club. Recommendation from Committee of the Whole is the lease agreement, Birch Street Seafoods and Yacht Club amendment of the wording and $500 price each per year for a 5-year lease.
Make that motion.
Seconder,
Second.
any questions? Councilor McCormick.
I didn't notice this until Karen looked at me, she spelled yacht wrong. If you hadn't looked at me, if you hadn't given me that look, I wouldn't have noticed it. Yeah, I know.
All right. Seems like a trend.
So,
A motion for that? Go ahead, Tom.
You made a motion, didn't you?
Yeah.
Someone else made the motion. I didn't make a motion.
Okay, made the
Yeah,
motion.
and he
I
seconded.
seconded it.
Yeah, I just pointed out that.
We need the ayes.
Right,
Yeah.
so we're going back to Tom here.
Okay, so the lease agreement has been amended as per the direction. And it has been sent out to both parties, for their review. I haven't heard anything back. Commodore, Halliburton was in my office and acknowledged that he did indeed get it, and he acknowledged that he would have to take it to the club executive or whatever for their review before he could give an answer. I did speak with the Birch Creek Seafoods, and he basically said yes, he acknowledged he got it, and he was gonna review it. I have not heard from him either. So, anyway, the, as amended, this, it was sent to them, and this just firms up that we're basically by approving, the lease and, the draft lease. So we're not actually approving the signatures at this point, but we're good with the lease the way it's been amended, right?
Accept the friendly motion to correct spelling.
I like the Yak Club.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving into the K3 RCMP Police Advisory Committee, Counselor Weir. Nope, wrong choice.
Yeah, I filled one of these out.
Yes.
On October 16th, we had our police advisory committee meeting, fairly well attended, and we had a special presentation from the Department of Justice. So they talked about, well, a whole bunch of different stuff, which you can sort of read in the report. They also touched on the review that's going on for policing. They weren't great at necessarily answering the questions that any members of the board asked of them, but they talked about most of the things that we did ask them. The staff sergeant brought up reallocation of certain equipment such as vehicles, and it was asked whether if they were reallocating some of our current vehicles that we had here, whether that would drop our cost for policing, which was met with a chuckle. So I'll take that as a no.
So that would be for when, say, Annapolis went to the RCMP, we give them some cars, is that what you mean?
I think they're taking there might have been a vehicle that was going to be allocated to here and it's being moved up the valley somewhere. And, since it's all part of the same contract, asking if that might lessen our cost, but that was not the case. One interesting thing that they did speak about in their presentation was the idea of having, well, folks, and Councillor Weir, you can step in here if you can remember it a bit better than I can, but they talked about folks that aren't actually officers that would sort of fall under the RCMP but not be a full RCMP officer to help respond to things that aren't necessarily direct policing. So if there is a requirement to do like a home visit because of a wellness check, or if if they've taken someone to the hospital and someone needs to stay there with them, and it's not somebody who is likely to commit further crime while they're at the hospital, to have those individuals there so that the RCMP officer can be freed up to work on other RCMP and policing matters. Go ahead. If you want to speak to that, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the term was special constable, actually using special constables to do some of the work, and I think it was brought up as well, about asking about the sheriff's office or the sheriff's deputy sheriffs performing some of this work, because our fair amount of deputy sheriffs in the province that there's no court or whatever, I don't know,
Yeah.
they can, so, yeah, anyway, it's it looks like they're looking at alternatives to take the workload off of the RCMP, at least to keep them doing their core duties as opposed to doing all these other things. It ties up officers for hours and hours, mental health calls and stuff, because they have to take those people to Yarmouth and wait for them to be assessed, and that can't leave them until they're placed in some institution or, someplace, so hospital or other thing.
On one more point, I don't think I had it in the report here, but they did go over staffing and where we were at. And, one of the roles that the staff sergeant was looking at getting created, which I think was a street crime role, or something along those lines. One of the former supervisors is moving into that role, and they do have somebody already lined up to replace him here at the detachment in Digby. So we will, well, for all intents and purposes, actually be fully staffed once that new person shows up. So there is someone coming off mat leave. They might be being reassigned, but there will be a replacement for them. So we will, or should be, providing no one else goes off or decides to leave, we will be at full capacity for the RCMP detachment here in Digby, probably for the first time in a long, long time.
That's good.
Yeah. So at the very least, we're getting our money's worth out of what we pay them. Yeah. Minus one car.
There you go. All right. We'll move on to K4. Yeah, go ahead.
Just, I had a question, Deputy
Sure.
Mayor, but as I sat here and thought about it, I think it is probably related to personnel when it comes to RCMP, so may I ask that in camera, please?
Sure. Yeah. Okay, moving on to K4, dark.
Digby Area Recreation, we met on October 15th, 2025. The Child Legends event was discussed. This is the first major event held in the arena sometime, considered a successful draw for the community. There was tremendous community and volunteer support and feedback. In the wrap-up, we discussed and suggested some time, maybe in another year or so, that it would be good to have consideration for the event to be brought back. 2027 dates were being discussed as possibilities. We went on to actually make that recommendation to actually have the staff look at a date in 2027. Perhaps the time of year might be better for January or February. There were some late totals that were still not included in the financial report because they had bought supplies for the canteen, which were supplies that would be ongoing and being able to be used. But they thought that they would run the event probably about an $1,100 loss, but it was good value for money, and the clinics for the young kids for participating in all those workshops were great for them. They really done a lot out of it. There was a motion passed to explore the booking event for 2027 because we thought it would be a little too soon to have it again in 2026. So that was the end of the discussion. Payables accounts were approved for $97,538.29 for September. All receipts were verified by the Vice Chair and the Treasurer. A special note that the amount spent on advertising for the events for dark with limited advertising sources. It's making the Clare shopper expensive in relative terms to other sources of media. It's getting pretty difficult and pricey to advertise anything. The arena repairs, there's an RFP should be going up for the roof, the wall, exterior repairs shortly. That work should be split between local contractors and contractors from away who might not be in our community, just because some of the expertise that's needed might not be available locally. Sharon got some advice from some of the estimates in terms of costs and time, because the first round of quotes that she has were wildly different in price, so we want to make sure we're getting value for money. The cameras that are now in the arena and in the curling club, the policy committee has been tasked with developing the policy and appropriate signage and notification for anybody entering the facility to make them aware. It should be coming soon for final approval and adoption. The dressing room doors now complete with sponsorship artwork and finished for each one of them. Zamboni logos were completed before the NHL Legends Hockey weekend took place, and they look great. Lots of comments on the logos on the ice surface for the first time. And discussion turned to the liquor license in the Curly Club and what type of license it had. And Sharon and Cindy were going to gather some more information and details for our next meeting. The license changed at some point over time, and now there's a question whether it's the right fit for the facility in the Curly Club. So, if more information on that.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions for Deputy Mayor? Questions? Move on to correspondence. Letter from the Transition House Association of Nova Scotia. the purple ribbon. That is from November 25th to December 10th. And when we wear a ribbon for that.
Just a comment on that, Mr. Mayor, I had a conversation today with the Director of Public Works, and it seems to be more and more now we're getting, can you turn the color of town hall this color, that color for this and that sort of thing. So I had wanted to do the lighthouse downtown, but the way it's constructed with the shingles, it's not really, doesn't lend itself to doing that. But I asked him if he could remove the glass lens that is in the tower and give it to me. I could rig that with LEDs and then be able to wirelessly give town the control to turn it whatever color they want. So he thinks it will come out, but he's going to check. So.
Okay, perfect. Very good. Yeah. Because I know the former mayor Ben always put the purple light in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we issued the bulb before, purple bulb.
Yeah. But I said, if you could take it out, I could rig it so that just plug it in the socket and then you can do it remotely.
All right. Moving on to new business. Outdoor Christmas light decoration contest, Councillor Shane Weir.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to request that council approve hosting our second, already, Town Digby Christmas Light Contest. It was a big success last year, really helped bring the community spirit. It was holiday pride there. I'm just asking to maybe possibly get around $325 to cover the costs of the trophies, the prizes, first, second, third. I sent you guys a little bit of some of the things I was looking at. Those are just options, the poster is just options. And I'd also like to ask if staff could post and promote the contest poster once it's finalized by council, so we can get it up to the residents involve them early this year. Thank you.
All right, Councillor Foot.
Councillor Weir, just one item here. The trophy that you're showing and being purchased online, could you look into buying that locally? I think it's important to support local businesses when they can, if they can reasonably compete with the price.
Thank you for that comment. Chair, that I did look into that last year as well with Fancy Jewelry. They do have certain trophies that are generic, nothing really Christmassy, and they couldn't find anything like that. And it's kind of the reason I went with the Santa theme, as you see. But that's also to council's decision as well. I just try to keep it in the Christmas spirit. And I did get the nameplates and stuff done by Fancy Jewelry as well.
Okay, just a suggestion. You might want to check with Digby Print and Promo. They can do it. They should be able to. Thank you.
Anyone else? Lights on. All right, what's your wishes? So,
I would say that we allow Councillor Weir to look into the alternatives that he wants to contact Digby Print and Promo. Give a little bit of variance in terms of the price, so that it's going to cost a little bit more if we're doing it locally versus ordering them online. But otherwise, I would make a motion that everything as presented be approved for a budget to do our second outdoor Christmas light decoration contest.
all right, have a seconder.
I'll second that.
Second. Motion on the floor. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Motion carried.
Instead, I think we should have probably tabled it and come back for the full package.
We would have to do that in 2 weeks, is the only thing. Not a long time.
Sorry about that. That seems bad there.
I think, because we'll put through right now, but I think next year we should look at maybe an ad hoc committee or go back to the businesses and see if they wanna do it, because we've now taken over the tree lighting. So, we need to,
Could we wrap that all in the banner committee? The banner committee, the tree lighting, the sort of ceremonies, all that sort of stuff, that it's really kind of the same vein.
it is kinda the same vein.
If I may, it is, but, when volunteering for the banner committee, it was for the banner committee.
That's right.
No, exactly.
So I think next year, when we do our session in, January, so we'll decide on what functions we're gonna start doing again, cause we had a lot of functions this year, so. Tom?
So, what was the budget amount that was approved?
325. 325, wasn't it?
325 was what the total would have been,
That's.
but now you don't know because you're getting other prices, right?
Still, council has to set a budget, right? That's the reason that it's here and not been already being done, because it wasn't included in the operating budget, right? So, next year it can be included in the town events.
Right.
And included in that budget, right? So, but this year it wasn't included.
Yeah.
So, I need to know what council wants to spend, so we can,
So you said 325, correct? Yes, 325.
We'll say if there is the eye to getting them locally versus online, we give them a $50 allotment so that if they are a little bit more expensive to buy locally and get labeled locally, if that's something that would be fair. And that way, if it's more than that, then we'll stick with ordering them from wherever you found for location.
All right. Moving on. Housing Initiative Coordinator job description. Housing Initiative Coordinator.
so the, job description is, has been drafted for a contract position, a 12-month term. And it'll be under the office of the Chief Administrative Officer. As far as the department, the position is accountable to and reports to the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer. No subordinate staff. And the position summary is under the direction of the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer. Housing Initiative Coordinator will be responsible for leading and development of programs, procedures, policies, and related to the Housing Accelerated Fund Agreement. And, I'm not gonna bore everybody going down through all the other details. The salary is gonna be based on 35 hours a week, Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. And, salary range for this is, we set within 50,779 to 57,703.
And that funding for that position is out of the fund, right?
And we can fund that out of, with the housing accelerated funds that we have. Right.
And this is not a work from home position, Tom, this is.
No, for the most part, it's gonna be, because we have to keep our, thumb on the pulse of this position, right?
Yeah.
And, so, yes, they'll, be set up probably in whatever, office is vacant down the hall on the second floor. Once the mayor makes up his mind whether he's relocating or not, so.
I'm happy, I got the sun and the view. Councilor McCormick?
Sure. Just wondering if the CAO has anyone in mind for the role. I know oftentimes you sort of have a talent pipeline for things like this. Is there anybody that you, okay,
No.
just curious.
I'm unfortunately not at this particular time. I think, we're gonna have to most likely, cast a broad net and see what we get, and, is, you know, it's gonna take a certain individual to do this job, be able to focus and, you know, it's gonna be, I guess, it's gonna be really hard on the head.
Yeah.
Right, because there's a lot of.
Councilor Noel?
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to make a motion to approve the Housing Initiative Coordinator position for a 12-month term.
I'll second that.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'd just like to mention that we didn't put it in there, but it could be renewable if not everything gets done within that 12 and there's still more work to do. We could.
Can I amend that?
Well, basically, I didn't put it in the job description because, we debated putting that in the job description, but the thing is, if you, put that in the job description, the, candidate may, try to extend his or her term. So, that's why we didn't, but I just wanted council to realize that it could be extended if required.
Yes. Sorry if I made it. Then we will, at that term, bring it to council again for acceptance, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor, do I have a seconder?
Yeah.
We already went second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Alright, N3, Emergency Management Bylaw, 2025-02.
Gone over that at nauseam. I'd like to make that motion. Emergency management bylaw number 2025-02.
Thank you, seconder?
Second that.
Seconder. Any questions? All in favor?
It's just given the first reading, is that correct, Tom?
Yeah, this is given first reading.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is first reading of the bylaw.
Yeah.
So then we have to advertise that second reading will be in December, and then we'll have second reading. And the advertising is so that, people are aware of the passing of the bylaw, or the intent to pass the bylaw, and they will have, able to see the bylaw, ask for copies of the bylaw, and be able to give comment on the bylaw.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Request for a decision on the development officer. Discuss that at committee of the whole, I believe. What's your wishes on this?
I'll move that council approve the expansion of duties for the town's bylaw officer, to include what's written here in the thing.
A seconder?
I'll second that.
Second. Any questions?
Question for the CAO. Did you have discussion with the bylaw officer regarding? And she was.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. I did, and I explained to her that basically and she's more than willing to give it a try, and I said, if it doesn't work out, then we'll go back with another option for council to consider. That she's more than willing to try it, and, so I will, now that council has approved it, then I'll, start to get her involved in any new applications that come forward, and have her come to the, EAC meetings, and so.
Okay.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, that concludes our meeting for tonight. We're gonna move in camera. Thank Thanks for coming out.
Motion to go in camera.
No, I do that, remember?
Oh, sorry, we should have said it.
I did not know you had this one clear, so I had a rough minute.
You didn't second it.
He made
Yeah,
a
we
motion to
need
go to the
the
washroom.
Shane?
Hello?
Do you have a second for it? I'm just asking.
No.
No.
Grab, look,
We have a motion to go in camera.
grab Kevin, we'll need a second.
Shane, can you shut the door?
Yeah, I was gonna shut the doors.
And if you need to talk to someone, we need to do that after because we were going on camera.
Well, he was asking questions.
So, hey, you can call her, you can call her.
That's why I wanted to go in myself, so we can figure, make sure I'm sitting down there facing down.
All right, motion to go in camera.
Motion to go in camera.
Seconder?
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Who first?
Me first.
You second.
Peter
Thank you.
All Peter.
Mary. I make a motion to approve the CAO exit strategy document.
We have a second.
Second that.
Second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Transit study.
Make a motion to accept Rick's transit study
You have to read it?
with modified timelines for February the 13th.
Just,
Yeah, I believe we were gonna read this in for the record.
read that.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So, quickly, report to council, November 3rd, 2025. A little tiny bit of history. King's Transit has been providing a basic service to the town of Digby as part of its Route 5 between Cornwallis and Weymouth. Town of Digby was charged $1,000 per month through an arrangement with the municipality of Digby. On June 4th, 2025, the council reviewed a proposal from King's Transit which would see the cost increase to over $100,000 per year. The council decided that the cost was too much for the service offered and opted not to sign on to the intermunicipal service agreement. After discussions with the manager of King's Transit, this decision was confirmed on July 3rd, 2025. King's Transit dropped the service to the town on September 1st, 2025. The ad hoc transit committee has met several times and discussed temporary and long-term solutions. On September 11th, 2025, the committee had a Teams meeting with Dr. Hassan Habib of Deltrack, Dalhousie Transportation Collaboratory, and with council's approval decided to look into having Deltrack facilitate a transit feasibility study under the terms of the grant received from the province for that purpose known as TRIP. On October 30th, 2025, Dr. Habib submitted a proposed work plan and budget for the study. The work plan involves identifying needs, data gathering, analyzing options, conducting public engagement sessions, preparing a final report to council, and identifies milestones to be accomplished with a timeline of November 2025 to March 2026. Our TRIP grant requires that we meet a deadline of February 13th, 2026. So I would like to make a motion to accept the Deltrack proposal with an adjusted timeline to fit the TRIP grant deadline of February 13, 2026.
Seconder?
Just a point of order, Mr. Mayor. Could we accept Councilor Foot's report
Yes.
first? So moved.
Okay.
Seconder?
Yep, second that.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
And so then I would like to make the motion to accept the Deltrack proposal with an adjusted timeline to fit the TRIP grant deadline of February 13th, 2026.
Have a seconder? Second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And the last one.
I'd like to make a motion to have our legal counsel represent us in response to the letter from Timothy and Catherine Peck, Peck's lawyer.
Seconder?
Second that.
Second. Any
Somebody was
questions?
first.
Motion. Second. Any questions?
Uh,
Yes.
Just a clarifying point with this, that This would be the same matter in which the town's already spent $13,000 in legal, no, not the same matter, sorry, same individuals.
Yeah.
That's been $13,000 already spent on legal costs.
All right, question, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion for adjournment.
Motion for adjournment.
Seconder? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.